Any momentum the Atlanta Braves had going after their series win against the Phillies ended in Tampa as the series ends in disappointment with Chris Sale struggling once again and Marcell Ozuna possibly being injured. We'll discuss all that on today's episode of Locked On Braves, so let's get into it.
You are Locked On Braves, your daily Atlanta Braves podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, welcome back to Locked On Braves, part of Locked On Sports Atlanta, where we cover your favorite Atlanta sports teams each and every day. I'm your host, Jake Mastriani. You can follow me on social media at shorts.ball. Check out the podcast there at LockedOn_Braves and on X or on Instagram at just Locked On Braves. If you're watching this on YouTube, please do me a huge favor. Hit that subscribe button, hit the thumbs up button, leave me a comment down below. It does help out the show a ton whenever you do those things. And if you listen on the audio version, you can help out by leaving me a 5-star review on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast. On today's episode, we're going to recap what happened over the weekend in Tampa Bay, another disappointing series, another troublesome outing for Chris Sale, also Marcell Ozuna's injury. We'll talk about that. Also on our Minors Monday episode, we'll look at some of the highlights down at the minor league level. Maybe things looking a little bit better there. We'll discuss all that on today's episode, which is brought to you by Monarch Money. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. Well, the Atlanta Braves, after a big series win at home against the Phillies, go back out on the road, and all that momentum comes to a screeching halt as they drop a series to the Tampa Bay Rays, losing both Friday and Sunday's game. And the Sunday game one really hurts. Obviously, the Friday game felt like you had a chance to win that one, but you can have some built-in excuses. The fact that the last game against the Phillies went so late, you got in early morning in Tampa and, kind of dragging in that game a little bit, although they jumped out to an early lead, had a chance for more in that first inning and couldn't capitalize. But you lose that one, and then you fight back on Saturday and get a big win, a potential momentum swinging type of win. And then you got Chris Sale going on the mound on Sunday against the guy that's had huge control problems and hasn't been able to stay up at the big league level. And look, it got close late, but you pretty much got blown out in that one on Sunday and you dropped the series. So again, it felt like maybe they had a little bit of momentum after that series clinching win against the Phillies, the walk-off that Ozuna had. You come with a big comeback win on Saturday. You got Chris Sale on Sunday, and the momentum is absolutely halted. And you're right back to where you were after losing the first 7 games of the season. As for Chris Sale, it's 4 starts now this year, and none of them have particularly been great. 4 starts so far, and he's yet to get into the 6th inning from your ace. He has allowed 3 or more runs in each of those starts. You can make excuses for him, and as you dig hard enough, you can come up with some pretty valid excuses for why he has been so sluggish to start the season. But it's unacceptable from your ace, quite frankly, and he knows that. He was as frustrated as anyone after the game. You could see the frustration visibly on the mound. He knows he is not good enough right now. He is not pitching good enough. And certainly in a game where, again, you could have ridden that momentum that you had from Saturday, get a series clinching win with your ace on the mound. You're looking for him to go out there and give you 6, 7 innings, give you a Chris Sale type performance against an offense that honestly hasn't been that great. They looked like it on Sunday against him in the Braves bullpen, and you weren't able to get it done. And Chris Sale's performance so far has just been completely unacceptable. You can't have that from your ace. Now, that aside, I was actually encouraged by the stuff that we saw on Sunday. And his start before that, the velocity was down, just didn't look as sharp, and the stuff didn't look as good as what we've seen from Chris Sale. And there was a lot of concern and worry that maybe he's injured. Maybe that back issue is bothering him again. But in the game on Sunday, the stuff was there. It was more so just the location. He averaged 96 miles per hour at the 4-seam, which is great to see. The slider, as always, has the big break on it. It was really just a location. He walked 3 batters, which is a lot for Chris Sale, and a couple of them to start off innings, which came around to score on some weak contact. And look, he's gotten into some bad luck. Again, you want to get into some of the excuses so far for Chris Sale. His expected ERA is about 3 runs lower than his actual ERA. He certainly has had some tough batted ball luck, but this one is his fault because you put those leadoff walks on and then you give up that weak contact and it's going to come back to bite you. And both of those to lead off the inning were 4-pitch walks. So it's frustrating. But again, if you're trying to look positively at it, the stuff looked great again on Sunday. And I believe he will figure it out mechanically. Whatever is bothering him mechanically, as long as it's not anything physical, I trust that Chris Sale will figure it out and get it going. So some good with the velocity back, but some bad with him struggling to command his pitches. But if he can maintain that velocity and he's healthy and he gets that command back, I think he'll look more like the Chris Sale we know he can be. Look, it was still a 30% whip rate, still a 30% CSW percentage on Sunday. So the stuff was there. For me, it just really the 3 walks really came back to bite him because you combined that with some weak hits that drove in some runs, drove up his pitch count, and didn't allow him to go deep in the game when the Braves really needed him to. This bullpen is getting so taxed right now. And, part of that is because of the guys that you have in the rotation aren't able to go deep, but you're really counting on Chris Sale to give you those innings, and he's not right now. Looking at the rest of the starters on the weekend, A.J. Smith-Shawver had maybe his best game, or I think it was his best game of the season, especially midway in that outing. He seemed to figure some things out. And what's his reward? The Braves send him down. And again, I have said it before, at least I said it before this weekend. Maybe we can adjust that conversation now. I don't think A.J. Smith-Shawver, Bryce Elder, or Grant Holmes has been good enough that you can make a strong case for any of them sticking in the rotation. Obviously, a couple of them have to, even with Spencer Strider returning because of the injury to Ronaldo Lopez. But this was A.J. Smith-Shawver's best outing and better than anything Grant Holmes or Bryce Elder has given you, but you send A.J. Smith-Shawver down. I don't necessarily understand that one. He will be back at some point, but as a pitcher, unless there's an injury, he can't come back for 15 days. But hopefully he did figure something out. Hopefully he understands the demotion, even if it doesn't make sense, and he goes down to Gwinnett and continues to work on those things and comes back even better, and this time was able to stick in the rotation. Again, it's not like he has lit the world on fire, so I don't have a necessarily strong argument for him staying in the rotation, other than he does have more upside, at least, than a Bryce Elder and a Grant Holmes, and if things do click, he could become a really good starter for you, but he hasn't necessarily shown enough to say, he definitely belongs in this rotation, but it was a bit of a head scratcher. For Bryce Elder in the Friday game, at least he gave you 6 innings. There aren't many other Brave starters not named Spencer Schwellenbach who are giving you 6 innings right now, so that's something, but he's still getting absolutely shelled. 8 runs in 10 innings pitched so far this year. So, again, he's giving you innings, but they're not quality innings, and he has options left. You could have sent him back. If your main reasoning for sending A.J. Smith-Shawver back was that he has options, so is Bryce Elder. So we'll see. Maybe the Braves have something in mind, but that one was a bit of a head scratcher, sending down A.J. Smith-Shawver and keeping Bryce Elder. I think we all just assumed it was going to be Bryce Elder that got sent down. Quickly on the bullpen, not having Aaron Bummer on Sunday really hurt, as he would have been the ideal pitcher to bring in with 2 on there in that 6th inning that got away from the Braves. De Los Santos came in and was just leaving too many fastballs middle. But certainly prayers for Aaron Bummer and his family right now. Pierce Johnson getting used in lower leverage situations is a talking point that I don't see many people talking about right now. He came in on Friday when the Braves were down 2. He gave up a run in that one. He came in the 5th on Sunday while the Braves were losing and went back out for the 6th and started what became a disastrous inning for the Atlanta Braves. So there seems to be some trust issues with Pierce Johnson right now from Brian Snitker. Iglesias allowed another home run. That needs to stop. He only allowed 4 all of last year. He's already given up 3 this year. And you knew there'd be some regression for both he and Chris Sale, but it all seems to be coming right now. The bullpen gave up 6 hits, a walk, 2 runs, and had 2 strikeouts over 4 innings on Saturday. They got the win, but that's a lot of traffic for the Braves bullpen. I mentioned De Los Santos. He had a rough Sunday. I want to get into the offense before we get into Miners Monday. We'll get into the rest of the offensive performance over the weekend, including Matt Olson, some stolen bases, and who is the primary Braves shortstop. I'll answer all of that here next. Looking for a snack that's both delicious and nutritious? Crack into a good source of protein with Wonderful Pistachios. Wonderful Pistachios is one of the highest protein nuts. Each 1 ounce serving has 6 grams of protein, giving you over 10% of your daily value. Plus, they're packed with fiber and better for you unsaturated fats to help keep you feeling fuller longer. Personally, I love the no-shell variety. It's the perfect grab-and-go snack for those busy days, whether you're snacking at the desk like I typically am on a road trip, taking the kids to dropping them off at the daycare, picking them up from school, whatever the case may be. It's so easy just to grab a pack of the no-shell variety. Doesn't make a huge mess in the car while I'm driving. But if you love cracking open every shell for that satisfying crunch, the in-shell options are a classic favorite. Wonderful Pistachios is a complete protein, providing all 9 essential amino acids. Whether you're running between meetings, dropping off the kids, Wonderful Pistachios are the great snack that works as hard as you do. Get snacking and get cracking with the snack that packs a protein punch. Visit wonderfulpistachios.com to learn more. Thank you as always. Making Locked On Braves your first listen of each and every day. Go check out Locked On MLB for your second listen. Sully, keeping you up to date with everything happening around Major League Baseball. And now you'll also get the MLB Game Night feed in there as well, where you can catch up on every game or just about every game happening every night for Major League Baseball. Jump back into the action from over the weekend, kind of wrap things up, looking at the offense really quickly. I know everybody just is focused on the results and the stats right now. And I get that. And I understand that. Matt Olson has been really good to begin the year. Again, you look at the stats, and I know it doesn't tell you that. He had 11 balls put in play over the weekend. 8 of them were over 100 miles per hour. Now, I know some of those, you didn't get the launch angle out of it. So you got some couple of grounded into double plays. You got some ground balls in there. And I know some of you don't care about exit velocity, but the data will tell you the harder you hit the baseball, the more likely you are to get hits. And he has just made some great contact in the first couple of weeks of the season. And if he's able to keep that up, the plate discipline's been pretty good too. If he's able to keep that up, continue to crushing the baseball like he is, I think Matt Olson's going to have a monster year, because at some point things are going to turn around from him, and all these hard hits are going to find some holes, get over the fence, get another one off the top of the wall on Sunday. If Matt Olson can keep this up, he's going to have a huge year. Let's talk quickly about the shortstop situation before I get into the rest of the offense from over the weekend. I posted this on X, but Nick Allen is the primary shortstop for the foreseeable future. The defense is comparable. It's better range, a little bit less arm, but it's comparable. And he gives you more offensively. Yes, Orlando Arcia is going to run into a few more home runs here or there. But as I keep saying, this offense just needs something different than that. They need somebody that can get on base and has some speed. And you've seen that from Nick Allen. Again, I don't think Nick Allen is the shortstop of the future or anything. I just think when you're comparing he and Orlando Arcia right now, if the defense is comparable, Nick Allen is giving you a little bit different look on offense, because he's somebody, like I said, with the speed to steal a base, score from first, can get down a bunt if you need to. The Braves are doing a little bit of small ball, and Nick Allen is part of that. So I just think he does more for you than Orlando Arcia, and he needs to be the starting shortstop going forward for the foreseeable future. And talking about the speed, talking about Nick Allen, the Braves had 6 stolen bases on the weekend. This is making me really excited, because I've been asking for it. Other teams seem to be doing on us at an unreal clip. It's time that the Braves start utilizing it to their advantage as well. And they had 6 stolen bases on the weekend. That's more than they had on the entire season coming into that Tampa Bay series. And you had 2 by Ozzie and 2 by Michael Harris, guys who need to be better at stealing bases. Again, it's not just trying to steal, it's being good at it. And it just does so many things for you. It puts you in scoring position, which might not be a good thing for the Braves offense. It puts stress on the pitcher. It's something else that they have to worry about. It just does so much for your offense to help get things going and manufacture runs. You see other teams do it against us, and hopefully the Braves are going to start doing that as well. Home runs, the Braves hit 6 of them in the first 2 games, none on Sunday. Helped by a little bit by the field. This is from Mark Bowman on social media. After Saturday's game, Snit said of hitter-friendly George M. Steinbrenner Field, they're in for a summer. A lot can happen in this place. So in case you don't know, and in case you didn't recognize it or hear it over the weekend, the Rays are playing in the Yankees minor leagues field there where they play their spring training games. And that field is designed to be New York Stadium, which is a very hitter-friendly ballpark up in New York. But then you put that down in the South with the humidity that you have in the South. And in the summer, balls are going to start flying out of the ballpark there. And Mark Bowman posted this. Number of parks each of Saturday's home runs would have been a home run in. Harris's only in 1. Murphy's second home run just in 13. His first home run in just 12 stadiums. And Albie's home run just in 2. So you see the Braves benefited from that greatly on a Saturday. But of course, even in a hitter-friendly ballpark, Matt Olson's hit on Sunday hit the top of the wall, and it would have been out in 7 other stadiums or 7 Major League Baseball stadiums. So Matt Olson, just unbelievable bad luck that he's had so far this season. And my final note on the offense, still just way too many strikeouts. Again, you're seeing some positives. I think you're seeing some good swings. Matt Olson's had good swings pretty much all year. Austin Riley coming around a little bit. Ozzie, Michael Harris showing some speed on the base pass, but 9, 11, and 13 strikeouts in these games. It's just way too many strikeouts. They had 4 walks on Saturday, but just 2 on Friday and Sunday's game. So those are areas where they're still lacking, and 4 for 24 with runners in scoring position, somewhere that they've really been struggling at all of this year, and honestly going back to last year as well. So again, you're seeing some small signs of this offense kind of getting back, but there's still those key areas that are holding them back from really breaking out. Mainly the strikeouts and the runners in scoring position cost them over the weekend. All right, let's get into our Minors Monday segment here. We'll start with Gwinnett, who went 4-2 this past week over Norfolk, which is the Orioles' AAA affiliate. Charles LeBlanc, 9 for 24, all singles for Mr. LeBlanc. 3 walks, 4 RBIs. Cody Milligan, 7 for 18, a double, a homer, a walk, and 3 stolen bases. Garrett Cooper, 6 for 14, a double, a home run, 4 walks, and a stolen base. Connor Capel, 5 for 13, 2 walks, a stolen base, and 5 runs scored. And then Alex Verdugo, only 3 for 17. 2 of those hits were home runs, 2 walks to 3 strikeouts. He left Sunday's game early. Speculation here is that perhaps he joins the team in Toronto. And if that is the case, I still think he's replacing Jared Kelenic. Pretty good series for Kelenic against the Phillies, but overall just hasn't made the strides, and he needs the everyday at-bats at Gwinnett to hopefully get him on track. Talked about this with Lindsey Crosby off air, but I think it could either be the best thing or the worst thing for Jared Kelenic. He either goes down there and he sulks and he's depressed and upset, and he just continues to struggle and doesn't make the swing changes, really pitch recognition that he needs to make. Or, he takes it as kind of his, I don't want to say final chance, as he's still a young player, but maybe his final chance with the Braves to really prove something. And he goes down there and tries to prove something and gets another opportunity. But it's looking like maybe we could see Alex Verdugo. Either he's hurt or he got an early flight to head up to Toronto to join the team there. And we'll probably know that early on Monday morning. Pitchers at AAA over the week: Spencer Strider, 5 1/3, 3 hits, 2 walks, 1 earned, 13 strikeouts. He's scheduled to start for the Braves on Wednesday. His side session on Sunday went well, so we could see, or we are likely going to see, the return of Spencer Strider on Wednesday in Toronto. Davis Daniel, who's maybe next in the pecking order if none of these other starters can get it together. He had a good outing: 6 innings, 1 hit, 3 walks, no earned, 6 strikeouts. Hurston Waldrop made 2 starts this past week, one on April 8th, 4 innings, 5 hits, 4 walks, 4 earned, 1 strikeout, not good. And then on April 13th, he goes 3 2/3 innings, gives up 7 hits, 4 walks again, 5 earned runs, 5 strikeouts. Like, I was excited as anyone about the Hurston Waldrop pick. It's early in the season, but you got to maybe make that decision here pretty soon if things don't turn around to try him out as a reliever, because it's not working out as a starter at the moment. And you've invested a lot in him. It's a big time arm that can still be really good, but maybe it's time to transition him to the bullpen, at least for now, until he starts to show signs of being able to command his pitches a little bit better. Jesse Chavez, 2 innings, 1 hit, no walks, no earned, 5 strikeouts, and a save. So we'll see if Jesse Chavez gets a call up here at some point soon. Nathan Wiles, 4 innings, 1 hit, 3 walks, no earned, 5 strikeouts. Dylan Dodd had a good outing, 2 2/3 innings, 2 hits, no walks, no earned, and 4 strikeouts. And Domingo Gonzalez, 2 2/3 innings, 1 hit, 1 walk, no earned, and 1 strikeout. Down at Columbus, the Klingstones go 4-2 on the week as well against Biloxi, which is the Brewers' AA affiliate. Hitters for the team this past week, Carlos Rodriguez, outfielder I've talked about a little bit this offseason that I like. He might not be anything more than a fourth outfielder, but he has some pretty good skills that I think the Braves could use. He goes 9 for 20, a double, 4 walks, a stolen base, did get caught stealing. Kevin Kilpatrick, who I've always thought has some big tools, if he could ever get the hit tool together, 7 for 21 this past week, 2 walks, 4 stolen bases. And David McCabe, a big week, 7 for 17, 4 doubles, 7 walks to no strikeouts, and he had a stolen base in there. So kind of a big season for David McCabe. Obviously missed most of last year with an injury, but coming back this season, want to see that big power for him. Certainly want to see the home runs, but 4 doubles is pretty impressive too. On the pitching side of things at Columbus, Lucas Braun goes 5 2/3, 5 hits, 1 walk, 2 earned, 4 strikeouts. Did give up 2 home runs. He's given up 4 home runs, 2 each in his first 2 starts, but otherwise has looked very impressive. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets the call up to AAA pretty soon, if not this upcoming week, depending on where some starters are needed. I think Gwinnett could use a starter, although they might be getting AJ Smith-Shawver back in the rotation. But I do think Lucas Braun's probably going to get the call up sooner rather than later. Giancarlo Lara, 2 games started, 5 innings pitched, 9 hits, 7 walks, 8 earned runs, 5 strikeouts. Might be time to transition him to a reliever as well. Again, I know it's early in the season in April, but he also has big time stuff that could play up in a bullpen role. I think maybe you have to make that transition with him for now. Ian Mejia, 6 innings, 4 hits, 1 walk, 4 earned runs, 5 strikeouts. Ellison Joseph, 2 2/3 innings, 1 hit, 1 walk, no earned, 4 strikeouts, and a save. Blake Burkhalter, 6 innings, 4 hits, 3 walks, 2 earned, and 3 strikeouts. Drew Hackenberg with a good start, 6 innings, 3 hits, 2 walks, 1 earned, and 3 strikeouts. Landon Harper's been big out of the bullpen for Columbus, 3 1/3 innings, no hits, no walks, no earned, 2 strikeouts, and a save. And then Roldy Munoz picked up 2 saves on the week and 2 scoreless innings. So good pitching happening there at Columbus. Always say this, but just for my first-time listeners, Southern League is a really good place for hitting, really tough place for hitting, really good place for pitching. So always keep that in mind. You saw it last year with Nacho Alvarez and Drake Baldwin. Moment they jumped up to AAA, their slugging percentages went through the roof. So it's a really tough league for hitters. Down at Rome, they went 3-3 versus Bowling Green this past week, the Rays High A affiliate. My guy, Ambioris Taveras, had a big week, 8 for 24, double, a home run, 2 walks, and a stolen base, but did strike out 10 times, and he's still striking out over 30% of the time, but making some good contact when he does put the ball in play. Justin Giannis, 7 for 16 with a homer and 2 walks. Stephen Polini, 6 for 14, a home run, a walk, and 2 stolen bases. And Patrick Klowizy, 5 for 20, a home run, 3 walks, and 1 stolen base. One of my favorite hitters from last year's draft. Again, might not be anything more than a 4th outfielder, but I do like the hit tool there. Didier Fuentes, a good outing for him. 6 innings, 3 hits, 2 walks, 1 hit batter, 3 earned, and 5 strikeouts. Corey Wall continues to be good out of the bullpen. 3 1/3 innings, 1 hit, no walk, 1 earned, and 5 strikeouts. Garrett Ballman had a nice little bounce back outing. 5 innings, 5 hits, no walks, 2 earned, and 4 strikeouts. J.R. Ritchie as well. All those guys who struggled in their first starts, they really bounced back in the second week. J.R. Ritchie goes 5 2/3, 3 hits, did walk 3. I don't love to see that, but no earned runs, 4 strikeouts. Ryan Barassa, 2 innings, 1 hit, no walks, 3 strikeouts. He's had a good beginning to the season there at Rome. And then Austin Smith, 2 scoreless innings with 3 strikeouts. And finally, wrapping up at Augusta, the Green Jackets go 2-4 against Hickory, the Rangers single A affiliate. Owen Carey goes 6 for 20 at the plate, a walk and 3 stolen bases. Mac Gassetti, catcher, goes 5 for 13 with 3 doubles and 2 walks. Isaiah Drake, another toolsy player like a Kevin Kilpatrick that struggles with the hit tool. He went 4 for 17 with a double, 4 walks, 2 stolen bases, did get caught stealing twice. And Colby Jones, 4 for 15, 6 walks, 3 stolen bases, and he got caught stealing as well. On the pitching side, Owen Hackman, 5 1/3 innings, 2 hits, 1 walk, no earned, 7 strikeouts. Brett Sears, 4 innings, 4 hits, no walks, no earned, 6 strikeouts. Jeremy Reyes, 2 2/3 innings, 3 hits, 3 walks, 2 earned, 3 strikeouts. Ethan Bagwell in his professional debut goes 4 innings, 3 hits, 3 walks, 1 earned, 2 strikeouts. And then Luke Sennard only goes 2/3 of an inning in his debut, doesn't allow a hit, does walk 2, no earned runs, and 2 strikeouts. But his pitch count got up to 30 pitches in the first inning, and that's pretty much the cutoff for the Braves and a lot of teams. So they removed him from the game. And unfortunately, it's not spring training, so you can't send him back out there. So it's a really short professional debut for Luke Sennard. Talked about Luis Guanipa last week. He got hit on the hand. He did get placed on the IL. Didn't hear if it's fractured or what the length of that might be, but he is on the injured list. All right, next we'll wrap things up talking about some of the news from the weekend, including Marcell Ozuna, some tough news for the Cubs, and then we'll preview the Blue Jays series. We'll do all of that here next. Ever check your bank account and wonder, where did all my money go? Between dining out, online shopping, and entertainment, it's easy to lose track. That's where Monarch Money comes in, your personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app, it's a complete financial command center. You can track all your accounts, investments, and spending in one place, so you stop just managing your money and start building wealth. Managing money with your partner is smoother than ever. You can track shared and personal accounts, set goals, and stay on the same page without the stress. Somebody who's been married for 10 years coming up on this August, right? Yeah, August, that's my anniversary date. I can tell you right now, finances is a big struggle in marriage. Monarch Money can help you with that. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONMLB. You're going to get half off your first year. So a little bit of news from over the weekend. Obviously, if you watched the game on Sunday, you saw Marcell Ozuna really struggling to beat out an infield ground ball there that looked like it was going to be an easy play. He ended up having to hustle at the end and kind of was limping, and then he had to limp around the bases. He ultimately stayed in the game and ultimately scored. He went first to third on the ball that Matt Olson hit off the top of the wall, and did score on a hit by Ozzie Albies, but clearly was struggling. They talked about him having this issue, I guess, in the beginning of every year, usually in spring training, but it didn't look great. He was eventually pulled from the game. Now that was after things kind of got out of hand, but certainly worried about Marcell Ozuna. Maybe we'll get an update on him Monday morning, but the Braves need his bat in the lineup. I know he hasn't exactly been racking up the hits, but he is certainly a presence in that lineup. Now, it would potentially get more bats for Drake Baldwin, although Brian Sinker's been hesitant to use him when he starts Sean Murphy because you don't have that third catcher on the bench. So do you have to bring up a third catcher before you actually utilize Drake Baldwin? Now, maybe the opportunity hasn't really presented itself, but when they kept Drake Baldwin on the roster, I figured you were going to try to get him at least one at bat a game and keep his bat in the lineup and fresh. But, Sean Murphy's been swinging a great bat. You can't take him out right now. And Drake Baldwin's just sitting over there on the bench. Now, I mean, he's getting good experience learning from Sean Murphy and being up at the big league level. But again, I don't want him to have to get more at bats at the expense of a Marcell Ozuna injury, but that might be what happens. I already talked about Spencer Strider. It's expected right now that he's going to pitch on Wednesday, that series finale against the Blue Jays. AJ Smith-Shawver sent down. Bryce Elder kept up. The Braves call up Michael Peterson, who we saw pitch in the game on Sunday. Looked pretty good. I mean, it wasn't garbage time, blowout situation, but looked pretty good. Some news from around Major League Baseball. The Cubs' Justin Steele is out for the year. It's a tough break there. I want to mention this because I just think good stories need to be mentioned. You might have seen Mike Trout get upset over what he thought a fan stealing a foul ball away from him. Mike Trout went running into the stands, sticking his glove in there, trying to make a catch. Fan kind of, struggled with him for a little bit to get the ball. I think it hit the fan first, which at that point makes it fair play. Mike Trout wasn't necessarily aware of that rule, was really upset during the game, but then he saw after the game, he actually goes and meets that fan, talks to him, gives a bat to his kid. And I just think Mike Trout is the best of all time, both for what he does on the field and the guy that he is off the field. He's always doing stuff like that. So I just want to shed more light on that because I think it's good that we talk about those kinds of situations because you're probably not going to see it on SportsCenter. You might see it on MLB Network. You might see it on some socials, but I thought it's just a great story that I wanted to share there. A guy who's humble enough to admit when he was wrong and also, show some grace for the fan who, potentially made a mistake. The A's, they DFA'd Angel Perdomo. That's his third team already who has DFA'd him, and we're not even through April, so maybe the Braves go out and grab him again. Freddie Freeman set to return for the Dodgers. Now, I did want to get into this Blue Jays series. Won't have a lot of time to preview it here. They split a 2-game set with the Orioles as one of their games got rained out over the weekend. Before that, they won a 4-game series over the Red Sox, and before that, they got swept by the New York Mets. Their offense has been really good. They're third in batting average, sixth in on-base percentage. However, they are 19th in OPS because they're 29th in home runs. They don't hit a lot of home runs, but they don't strike out. Fourth fewest strikeouts, 10th most walks. They are just 18th in stolen bases, which is tied for the Braves, and half of their steals are coming from Andres Jimenez. Bichette looks like himself again, hitting 314, and Springer is off to a really hot start for them. Vlad obviously doing Vlad things. On the pitching side, they've been great. Sixth in ERA, fourth in WHIP, sixth in batting average against, sixth in strikeouts, sixth fewest walks, 10th in K per nine. So it's a top 10, top 7, 8 offense, and certainly a top 5, 6 pitching staff right now that the Braves are going to have to face. Chris Bassett and Kevin Gausman have been great to begin the year, and the Braves will see both of them in this series. Gausman's been extremely lucky, though, a 143 batting average on balls in play. Obviously, with that splitter, he's trying to get a lot of ground balls, and sometimes you can get extremely lucky like that. Sometimes you can get extremely unlucky, and hopefully his luck will run out against the Braves. Jeff Hoffman, who the Braves almost signed but didn't, who the Orioles almost signed and didn't. He's already had a save and a win against the Orioles this year. He's been fantastic. Chad Green and Yimi Garcia have also been great out of the bullpen. The matchup on Monday is Grant Holmes versus Easton Lucas. Lucas, in 2 games started, has not allowed a run. He's went 5 innings, 1 hit, 2 walks, no earned, and 3 strikeouts against the Nats. And then 5 1/3, 3 hits, 1 walk, no earned, and 8 strikeouts against the Red Sox. He uses his four-seam fastball over 50% of the time, and it's got a near 30% whiff rate right now, even though it only averages 93 miles per hour. His changeup and slider have been really good. He also throws a sweeper. As for Grant Holmes, got to think if he doesn't turn things around soon, and maybe even as soon as Monday, the Rays have to consider moving him back to the bullpen. But you just don't have any better options. You just sent your other option down, and you can't bring him back for 15 days unless there's an injury. So he may get at least 2 more turns in the rotation, but he's got to show some of that promise that we saw last year. He's yet to go more than 4 innings. His last start, he didn't give up any runs, but the Phillies made him work. He's walked 4 batters in his first 2 starts this year. He's got to be better than that. He's got to be able to give the Braves consistently 5, 6 innings. All of their starters do. We need to see a better performance from Grant Holmes on Monday night, and we need to see the Braves get things together, get another series win. It's going to be a tough battle against a team that's playing pretty well early on, has a top 6 offense, top 6 pitching staff, but the Braves have got to get it done. They've got to find a way to string some wins together, especially on the road where they only have 1 win so far this year. That will do it for this episode of Locked On Braves. Thanks so much for joining me today. Make sure that you subscribe on YouTube if you're new. Hit that thumbs up button. Leave us a comment down below. Make sure that you rate, review, and subscribe to the Locked On Braves podcast wherever you get your podcast, and we will talk to you next time.